This morning with budget hearings for the 2016 budget, and everybody up here want to introduce yourselves?
Zach Telerik with the Franklin County Office of Management and Budget.
Victoria, Acting Clerk for Board of Commissioners.
Marilyn Brown, Commissioner.
Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator.
Eric Janis, Deputy County Administrator.
Chris Long, Deputy County Administrator.
Good morning, Ron O'Brien, Franklin County Prosecutor.
And good morning, Euro Venters, Franklin County Public Defender.
Great. And we start this morning, our first round of budget hearings is on the justice system, and we will give our two formidable guests the opportunity to present. I don't know who's starting.
I'm happy to.
Prosecutor generally goes first.
Well, that's what I was just going to say.
Yes,
Is,
how true.
is that following that normal procedure, I'm happy to start first. And before I do, I want to thank President Brown for your support in the past of our office and all the time I've been prosecutor and you have been a member of the Board of Commissioners. You've been very supportive in our budget requests, although there were a few tough years there, probably in 2010, 11, and 12 maybe. But I think we all were able to make it through, and since then there have been efforts, particularly last year I might say, with President Brown and both now departed County Administrator Don Brown and Ken Wilson, the current County Administrator, in getting done our salary study, which has immensely helped us in going forward with our personnel and personnel issues. So I want to thank you for that past support. And again, I would say this year, as the recommendation of County Administrator Mr. Wilson reflects, and with the help of Mr. Telerik and Eric and Chris, we have submitted a general fund budget request of $16,945,000 with a non-general fund request of $2,724,000 for a total of $19,670,000. And as they say, you get what you ask for. We not only got what we asked for, but the recommendation of the County Administrator is more than what we had asked for. I know there are some reasons for that, particularly as it relates to the health care provisions of the budget and some other issues, but we, as you are aware, represent the county in civil matters, including helping every Tuesday morning, and when legal issues arise for the Board of Commissioners, but all commissioner agencies, including non-commissioner agencies such as the Board of Elections, Children's Services, the Adam Board, and we act as the attorney for all those agencies in an advisory capacity, but also in any litigation that may arise or threaten litigation that we may help try and resolve for settlement. And then certainly what we're probably more well known for, at least from the public's perspective, is the criminal prosecution that we do not only in the criminal division, but with our specialized units, be it gang unit, drug unit, white collar crime section, the special victims unit. We have a gun unit, a non-support unit. All those specialized units help us to perform our daily duties before the 17 Common Pleas Court judges in prosecuting the serious felony cases. What we are hopefully, I think by the end of the year, will do a final acceptance of our matrix case management system that you all were helpful in first putting in the capital budget and then getting implemented. And I think the final payment will be made, as I know that the the Finance Department at least would like to see done here in 2015. The final payment will be made because I think we it's up and running in most of the office, criminal, juvenile, civil, and DTAC, which is the specialized tax collection unit in Mary Johnson's area that works with Treasurer Leonard in both the lien collection, lien enforcement, and then the nuisance abatement programs with John Rosenberger's unit. We did the internal training starting last year, and that continued this year. But they're working with Tibera and the clerk of courts on the e-filing to marry those up. We are filing indictments through Matrix through the e-filing system, and while some of the folks that maybe are my age in the office still struggle and have some difficulty, myself not included, but find that
Of course not.
that the younger people have attached to it very quickly and easily, where those that are eligible to retire have even threatened to retire if they're forced to do it. But I say that jokingly because the training has worked out well, and everyone is some quicker than others working to do all case management through it. They're working currently with the Civil Division to build a module for civil. They previously didn't have a civil product, but because of, I think, what we've done, and what they've worked with us on, they're going to try and create a module that will be available across the state to prosecutors who want to include a civil product as well, and it looks like that we may be their test case. I think about 2 weeks ago we had the City of Cincinnati, their municipal city prosecutor's office, came up and visited our office to see how it operated, and Rick Pfeiffer's office is going through a discussion with Matrix about having that operable in their office. So I think its value is seen by others, and others with more case volume than we have. CPD is not yet on board to send us the information through the Matrix portal, but we did get the ordinance passed here within the last several months post Labor Day, where Matrix is going to work with their provider Motorola and marry up a I think it's called an AVI interface that allows the police to file their reports directly through even a unit in a cruiser directly to our office. And when that is up and running, I think the effort will be pretty complete, and we hope to have that done in 2016. At the same time, the use of Matrix has increased the workload for our staff, because we have to intake and get the information put into the system, and most of the open support staff positions were filled this year due to that demand. I think shifting gears a little bit to an ongoing request with PFM to reconfigure some space on the 14th floor of the large library area we have there. Since we have not a need for thousands of books on bookshelves, as most of our research is now done on computer, and books are a lesser part of our office, that large library area we hope to reconfigure into some additional office space area, along with some other areas of 14, and we have a few attorney positions that are open that we'd like to fill, but actually one of the drawbacks is we didn't have a place to put them, so we continue to work on that. I know that I think perhaps last Tuesday, the board accepted a grant from the Attorney General's office to expand in our victim witness assistance area, to add someone full-time at the formerly Children's Advocacy Center on Livingston Avenue, associated with Nationwide Children's Hospital, to handle the child victims of sexual offenses as well as abuse offenses. Mm-hmm. And that person will be there full-time, and I think that's reflected in our 16 request for results that was submitted and is listed in the recommendations of the county administrators. So I think that our efforts this year in seeking our goals to handle all cases coming before the court in a timely manner and in a manner that seeks a just result has been successful, and that the recommendation for the budget that's been submitted helps us to continue to fulfill that. Although not directly, I don't think, in our budget, one issue I did want to mention that has been continued to be worked on, and Kathy Crandall's unit has since, again, probably summer or fall, actively become involved. And I think Commissioner Brooks, after a meeting that we had, assisted in that regard in trying to explore the use of a one-stop shop for domestic violence kind of victims, where we can marry up the city attorney's office, our office.
Well, just one correction, prosecutor. It wasn't just domestic violence victims by any stretch of the imagination. It was sexual assault victims. And this Sunday, as you know, the hunting ground is being shown on CNN. Right. We're one of the largest campus areas in the United States, second only to Boston, and there's a lot of liability and unfortunately bad stuff that happens, and we want to prevent a really terrible, terrible situation from going further. So just wanted to make that correction.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure, and I think that the CPO unit of Capitol Law School, Lori McCann, is part of that proposal, as well as the court itself and the magistrate that helps handle the CPOs that people will seek. So I'm hopeful that that project that we started working on a year and a half ago comes to fruition in 2016, and I know with the efforts of Kathy Crandall and Melissa in her unit that hopefully that can go forward in 2016. Although that's not something in my budget, I think that's something that I think the commissioners, as part of her effort to work with us and other criminal justice agencies, and I think that includes the sheriff's office as well as part of the group that would be involved, that will help us in the system better address the intake of those kinds of cases.
And the city attorney as well. Rick Pfeiffer
Right.
came to that meeting, City Attorney Pfeiffer, and lots of folks. There's a real need for that, and I hope that we can step up and be
Right.
supportive, and I hope that it will help you increase your prosecutions and convictions
Right.
in both the domestic violence and sexual assault area. It's kind of out of control right now.
So unless there are questions, I would, and maybe the questions can wait until the end, I would yield the microphone to our esteemed public defender, Mr. Venters.
Esteemed. I'm quite
Esteemed.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
County Administrator Wilson, Deputy County Administrators, and OMB staff. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on some of the programs and initiatives the Franklin County Public Defender Office has partnered in creating and maintaining during the course of 2015. For the viewing audience, again, my name is Yura Venters. I serve as the Director of the Franklin County Public Defender Office. Our mission is to provide comprehensive legal representation and social work services in criminal, juvenile, and custody proceedings to indigent persons in Franklin County so as to fulfill the constitutional mandate of equal justice under the law. I'm pleased to report that during calendar year 2015, the Franklin County Public Defender Office has continued to provide quality legal representation to the more than 50,000 clients that we're projected to serve by collaboratively working with the court and other agencies to create more programs and services to address our clients' needs and improve the quality of our service, the delivery of our service. As part of our effort working with each court system, the prosecutor's office, and the clerk of courts to develop and implement e-filing, we've been able to provide our attorneys with desktop access to essential materials and resources needed for case preparation. Our work with county commissioners and public facilities management to install Wi-Fi within the courthouse complex has enabled my attorneys and social workers to utilize our computer tablets to access vital information from remote sites, greatly improving our efficiency and effectiveness. In addition to the advancements made through the use of new technology, the county's criminal justice system has also taken on the challenge of developing strategies to improve the quality of life of those within our community who suffer from mental illness. In partnership with the Council of State Governments, the Attorney General's Office, the Franklin County Criminal Justice Planning Board, and the Franklin County Offender Reentry Coalition, the county has launched a behavioral health and housing initiative to increase capacity for those individuals frequently in and out of jail and emergency shelters due to mental health issues. Under the leadership of Commissioner Brown, Franklin County has also embraced the nationally recognized Stepping Up initiative designed to reduce the prevalence of people with mental illnesses being held in jail. The goal is to develop procedures for better screening and risk assessment, to properly identify these frequent users of the system and timely release and link them to community resources and services to stabilize their circumstance, reduce the likelihood of reoffending, and help them lead crime-free, productive lives. Towards that end, sponsored by a grant the municipal court received from ODRC, the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, the Public Defender Office recently began working very closely with municipal court, their probation department, and the city prosecutor's office in an effort to develop a pretrial release services program. In our effort to continue to work collaboratively with juvenile court to develop and promote policies and strategies to address the needs of children and families in crisis, I and members of my staff are still actively engaged in the Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative. Most recently, as a result of the initiative's work with the Annie Casey Foundation, the Franklin County Juvenile Court has been approved to expand to the deep end phase. In this phase, primary emphasis is placed on reducing the court's use of confinement in favor of developing opportunities for more community programs and services for those children found to be delinquent and in need. Key objectives include eliminating unnecessary and inappropriate out-of-home placements for youth adjudicated delinquent, establishing more robust, targeted, and effective continuation of community-based interventions, improving public safety outcomes by reducing recidivism rates, reducing racial, ethnic, and gender disparities in the ways youth are treated, redirecting public resources from the deep end to more effective practices and programs.
Could I ask about those gender inequities?
Yes.
If I could interrupt we have your speech here. Would you talk a little bit more about that? What gender inequities are you seeing?
We find that there seems to be more community resources available for male population than female population. Oftentimes,
Could you provide the Board of Commissioners with some additional data on that? I'm very interested in that. I don't think I've heard you say that before.
Okay.
And you heard me mention the the hunting ground. I mean, that's on the victim side. That'll be aired this Sunday on CNN. But also I'm concerned that sometimes people who are defendants themselves are really victims. So I'd love to talk to you more about that and get some more data on that gender disparity.
Commissioner, I will look forward to that discussion, as will the members that are part of the JDI Deep End expansion phase, because there have been times over the years that juvenile court has realized that the problems that they face in the juvenile arena are quite similar to those that they face in the adult criminal justice system. There have been times that they have felt that their voice has not been fully heard, and we have attempted to address that in a larger setting through our Franklin County Offender Reentry Coalition by inviting them to the table and part of the task force.
Well, we have one commissioner involved with that. The other commissioners don't always hear what's going on. So I'd like to hear more, because I've been actually involved with a number of people throughout the last year on a listening tour discussing sexual assault in particular. And again, I know that oftentimes women or young women who might be deemed offenders are themselves victims. And I think we know more about that with the stalking, human trafficking issues now. And so I'd like to sit down and talk with you about where that crosstab is occurring.
I think it's an opportune time to have that discussion because, as I mentioned, we've just been approved for expansion to the deep end phase, and they're realizing the dispositional opportunities that are available are quite fewer than what they had realized they need. So they're trying to develop more programs in the juvenile justice system, Franklin County juvenile justice system, and the court system, and we're participating in that discussion. We look forward to sharing that information from you and getting your feedback as well.
That'd be great. Well, my office will reach out and we'll get that scheduled fairly shortly. And, you know, I'm the only attorney that sits on the Board of Commissioners, and I have a little more interest in the detail of how those transactions are occurring. So I'll look forward to that.
We'll look forward to that discussion as well.
You're as far as what the juvenile, the juveniles on the reentry coalition, that committee that's working with the juveniles are doing. We've just gotten started with working with that court juvenile, with Judge Jameson's interest increasingly focused on what's happening in reentry and doing things to divert juveniles from getting into the system in the first place, and that link to keeping juveniles out of the juvenile justice system. And I know she'd be very interested, if she's not already working with you. Judge Jameson is particularly interested in working on that issue. So if you're not working with her now, she's a person you may want to reach out to.
Certainly, Commissioner. As a matter of fact, she and I recently participated in the strategic retreat for the Offender Coalition. And,
Yeah.
we did exchange ideas. She's also a part of the JDI Deep Expansion
Right.
approach. So
I figured.
we hopefully will share a lot of information as we move forward to addressing those key objectives and benefiting from lessons learned.
I figured, and I want to take the opportunity to thank both of you for participating and really taking to heart the work we've done on the Stepping Up initiative. Both of you, with your expertise, have really taken this initiative on the mental health side and really pushed this initiative forward. So thank you for that as well.
Well, it's exciting to be a part of the many things that we have going on within Franklin County. And when most jurisdictions look to us for best practice, they're amazed at the level of collaboration and cooperation that exists between the disciplines. Although obviously Ron is a prosecutor and I'm a defense attorney, we do see that there are opportunities to where our needs intersect. And obviously, we're both interested in providing and promoting public safety.
Absolutely.
And what's best for the community is that when we interact, when people are found within the criminal justice system, we have an opportunity to not only engage, but to hopefully turn their lives around and help them be more productive as they move forward.
Well, and I would hope that you're both walking arm in arm to prevent crime, because the best situation is that we prevent crime from ever happening. And to that end, I certainly thank you for crime prevention. That is the most important thing in my mind.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
All of these programs and initiatives serve to illustrate how active participation, collaboration, zealous advocacy in each branch of the courthouse continues to create opportunities to promote better use of community resources, enhance public safety, raise offender awareness, and prove invaluable to improving court and agency cost efficiency. These efforts enable the Franklin County Public Defender Office to continue to carry on many of the initiatives we've partnered in creating over the years and utilize existing resources to successfully fulfill the Franklin County core principles of providing community safety, security, and effective justice by ensuring that our system of justice is administered fairly, effectively, and efficiently.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both
So we're
for
done.
all that you do.
We're done early.
Unless you have any
Thanks for getting
questions.
through.
They often worry about that when I start speaking.
Both of you
Well,
are very good
Well-
at presenting your cases.
Ron, question. You know that I've been concerned about this sexual assault issue. How many convictions have we had this year on sexual assault?
You know, I don't have that number right at my fingertips, but I can get it for you. I would add that back in 1997, we got a grant under the Violence Against Women Act to create.
20 years ago.
Yes, yes, and that was to create a Franklin County sexual assault protocol. And one of the conditions of the grant, and we put it in it, was that we would engage in periodic training.
That was the Clinton administration, by the way.
Was it?
Yes.
I
that
lose
was
track of
Violence-
years.
Violence Against Women Act arose under the Clinton administration, and it's been a very good thing. We've had to fight for reauthorization
Right,
almost
we
every
still
single
have it
time.
today, and I
Yes.
guess we had Monday of this week, the fifth training under the protocol. We updated the protocol, primarily done by Jane McKenzie, the head of our Victim Witness
Jane
Assistance
does a
Unit,
great job.
as well as Jennifer Roush and Robert Letson from our Special Victims Unit, and myself. We borrowed the Columbus Police Academy and asked every police agency in Franklin County to send their primary detective that's engaged in sexual assault investigations to the training. And I think we had 100, I lose track of numbers, over 100 officers respond, and that is, as you know, a devotion of time and resource, because that pulls those officers away from their duties, and sometimes if they're second or third shift, the agencies have to pay overtime, but there was a very good response, and we had a training out at the Police Academy, as I say, on Monday, the fifth one since 1997.
Do you have a
And,
deal- do you-
I can provide you a copy of that updated
That
sexual
would be
assault
great.
protocol that I think with the help of Kathy's office, we were able to have printed.
And what about
uh,
Ohio State? Are any of those officers participating with you? Because when Vice President Biden came here this summer and talked about his initiative regarding sexual assault, people were hanging from the rafters. There was so much interest. And he, in particular, spoke to our young men, which I think is extremely important. That if we're actually going to end sexual assault, it's a two-way street. It's men and women. Did OSU police officers participate in that?
Yes, and I would add that we had a presenter from Sarnco, as well
excellent. They're
as
been
some
good
of the
colleagues of
other
ours.
responders that deal with the initial contact with victims on sexual assault. And I would add as a follow-up as well, pursuant to the effort to reduce or address sexual assault on the campuses, we have been working with the Ohio Attorney General's office to develop a protocol for how that's going to be addressed. And
When
I
will that be
think,
done, Ron?
I think I saw, matter of fact, they have been representing all the universities across the state in that regard.
When will that be
And
done?
I saw an MOU just this week with Columbus State that we are in the process of developing. So that is, it's done in some regards and ongoing in others.
Would you keep the commissioners in the loop? Because, you know, we sit here and we manage a $1.4 billion budget. We have choices to make as to where we place our emphasis. And this is an emphasis that we must pay attention to.
Good. I will get you both the protocol, Marilyn, you as well, and the
And to John.
MOU,
John
right,
Get it to
right.
John.
Should be to
Yep.
the whole board,
Right.
Ron.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank
both.
you for your help in the past as well as again this year.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
We are adjourned for
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Time for coffee.